I do what I do. Coach, welcome back.
Great.
You doing all right?
I'm good.
We just lost electricity and got it back just in time.
Is that right? Is it storm outside?
No, I think it's
Just too many people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, if we can make sure the back doors are closed, please. You might get a Manziel question or two.
You think so?
Perhaps. Okay, we are ready with Coach Sumlin. If you have questions, please raise your hand, and we will get a mic to you.
Hey, Coach. Hunter Mandel, Bleacher Report. What makes Kyle Field the greatest college football experience in the country?
Well, the question was, what makes Kyle Field the greatest college football experience in the country? There's a lot of places that talk about the 12th man, and it is the home of the 12th man. You know, he truly connected with our current students, and we've got 30 to 35,000 students who stand the entire game and create a lot of noise on the opposing sideline. It makes it unbelievable, and I think, you know, when we set out to look at the stadium renovation, I had one question early, and they asked me, he said, what are you looking for, Coach? I said, let's do the impossible. Let's make Kyle Field even louder and a little bit more intimidating. So we've lowered the field about 6 or 7 feet, brought the stands down right on top of everything, put in going to over 102,000 fans instead of, we sat, I think the official seating is 83 something, and then we averaged 85. So we put those other 2,000 people on the visiting sideline, I guess. But it's just a great place to play. As a coach, I've been out of both locker rooms, and as an assistant coach at A&M and in Oklahoma, it's just a great place to play. And with that being said, I think we're a great fit for the SEC. And people who have been there have been very, very complimentary. And the stadiums that we go to, the type of passion, the type of fans and type of football and the knowledge of fans, I think we've been a great fit for the SEC. Our fans have enjoyed their trips to other stadiums, and as well as, I think, from the emails and the letters that I've gotten, other fans coming to College Station.
Corey Miller, Watch Fox, Columbia. Coach, talk about that Thursday night game going on the road. I know you talk about your home field, but going on the road to South Carolina would have been very successful the last couple of years. Talk about that challenge.
Well, it's a big challenge. I think there's a couple ways to look at it. As a coach, during fall camp, a lot of times when you're playing, it's going to be a top 10 opponent on the road. First game of college football, really, national TV, first game kicking off the SEC network. It's easier to get your team's attention. I think, you get practice 16, 17, 18, and things are kind of dragging a little bit. If you're playing a lesser opponent, guys kind of like, all you got to do is turn that video on, and guys know they're going to be on national TV, and everybody's going to be watching them. A little bit easier as a coach to get things motivated. That being said, you'd rather have a quarterback that has been in that environment before, but we're used to that. And that's all part of college football, and we'll try to get some situations for some of the younger players to try to put a little more pressure on them to handle it on the road. But you really never know how guys are going to react until the live bullets start flying. And I'll say this: whoever starts the game at quarterback will probably be really, really best friends early in that game, because I'll be the only guy talking to him in front of all those people.
Coach, Steve Nissen, WEAR, Pensacola. Obviously, there was a lot of attention on Johnny Manziel. How are things different with him gone on the field and off the field?
Just look around here. How's that? It's a little bit different than it was last year, right?
Coach Melissa Kim from WIT 42 News in Birmingham. What brought you to the decision to bring a punter to Media Days to talk to all of us today?
I was waiting for that question. No, Drew is an exceptional punter, and it's kind of funny. Last year 2 years ago when he first started, or last year, he didn't have enough punts to really qualify to get into the Ray Guy Awards. Got into the semifinals, all that other stuff, but you have to have a certain number of punts to do that. Anybody who's been around me knows I can't stand to punt. So we brought him here. He was a finalist for the Ray Guy last year. I wanted to make sure everybody knew who he was, because I hope you don't see him again the rest of the year. We don't like to use him, but when we do use him, he is a fabulous weapon. One of the best in the country, as reflected last year, being a finalist, and one of the better players in the country, one of the top punters in the nation.
Sandy Hooper, USA Today Sports. Who are we going to be talking about from your team in the next NFL draft?
Did you say the next NFL draft? I don't know. I think obviously Cedric Aboye, the transition, much like Jake Matthews, moving from right tackle to left tackle in our system, puts Cedric in that category. I think he has the ability to be a first round. Obviously, he's been projected as a first rounder already. The ability to communicate with young guys and understand that they can play and take their value up as a senior, as Jake Matthews did this year. Moving from a late first-round pick to an early first-round pick was worth a lot of money for Jake Matthews. I think Cedric understood that, our communication with him, and the ability to move the left tackle. So I think the guy that you're going to be talking about more than anybody in that situation, probably much like Jake last year, is Cedric Aboye.
Hey, Coach. Chris Price, WBRZ in Baton Rouge. Do you expect, how much will the offense miss Johnny Manziel this year? Do you expect the offense to roll on as it's done without him?
Why would I expect it not to?
Did he bring
you expect it not to? Is that the question?
I'm asking you your expectation. Nobody
Yeah,
cares about
our
my
expectations are to move the football, score, and win. And that's never going to change, regardless who the quarterback is.
So the quarterback doesn't really matter?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
That's why we recruited him.
So it doesn't make a difference who you have at quarterback?
That's not what I said.
Oh. Do you expect the same thing no matter who the quarterback is?
We expect to move the football, score, and win.
No matter who the quarterback is?
No matter who. That's our expectation. Yes.
Okay. I think I got it.
Marissa Martin, ESPNU, coming off of a big win against Duke in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. How important is that for the momentum to start out this season?
No, I think any coach will tell you, the last game you play is the one that kind of sticks with fans, sticks with recruits, sticks with you as a coach, and as bad as the first half was of that game for us, the second half was that good, and in that situation, and in a time slot that I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was the highest, the most watched non-BCS bowl game last year. So, it gave a lot of visibility to a lot of different young players, a lot of visibility to our program and to our university, and to win it is always good. So, no, I think you end the season on a high note. That sends your seniors out and your underclassmen who are turning pro, sends them out on a good note, but it also gives good motivation to your younger players, and also gave us, I think, propelled us right into recruiting the month of January to close out a pretty good recruiting year.
Luke Simons, KXHD over in College Station. Sometimes fans get excited, skies falling when you lose a guy like Johnny football, but you've been in this position before. It's part of being a college football coach. What are you looking for when you go into competitions, especially at quarterback, and finding that next guy that's going to fit the system and then lead the team down the field?
Well, the first thing is that, this is not a inexperienced offense. I think we've got, as we just talked about, we've got a number of offensive linemen that have played. We've got a center who's returning as a starter. Really his second or third year. He's played a lot. Mike Matthews, Cedric's moving from right to left. We've got 3 or 4 guys there they've played a lot of football. Cam Clear at tight end. We've got Malcolm Kennedy, who's a guy nobody's talking about. He's been playing, catching touchdowns for the last couple years. Most notably probably the Alabama corner route, 2 years ago. So he's finally a senior. We're going to need him to show some leadership across the board on the perimeter. But our 3 running backs are really, really good, and they're experienced players. And to answer your question, we've challenged the rest of the offense. We're going to have a young guy play quarterback, no matter what. If it's Kenny, he played a little bit last year. If it's Kyle, he hadn't played at all. But a bunch of those other players are talented players who've been in the battles, who understand what it takes, and it's incumbent on them to make our offense quarterback friendly, along with our coaching staff, to give our guy a chance to be successful with ball distribution, and whether it's run, pass, or play action or anything like that. The execution, it's on the quarterback, but we're going to be able to surround him with some talented players that can make his job a little bit easier. So, during fall camp, we'll evaluate all those things, whether it's, that we do it like everybody else to a certain point, and then you have to have a feel for it. And whether it's numbers, whether it's completion, whether it's, the ability to not give the other team the ball, that's a big one for me. And make sure you throw it to the right color jersey instead of the other jersey. All those things will be in a factor, as well as, how you handle things, how you handle situations, your football IQ during the game, situational things that really, as a quarterback, are the hardest things to really get done early, because of so many things that are going on in your mind from a play just running a play standpoint.
Right here.
Coach Mike McCoy, ABC 40, Bryan College Station. How is the defense going to improve from last year? And if you could give us a certain part of the defense and certain players that we might not know about right now who are going to step up.
Well, I think we're going to have more depth in the front. I think rotation of front 7, as I said, really the front 4 is going to be the key. We ended the season rotating, 5 guys and 4 guys, so out of the 4 spots. So we're going to have to do that. We've got more depth there. I think, we're bigger and we're stronger up front, which is a big key. Return both corners, leaving DeShazer at corner instead of moving him all over the place and being kind of a jack of all trades, master of none deal. We had a couple guys like that just trying to plug holes here and there. But he and Devontae will have some competition at the other corner. That helps us where we've got to make some decisions. We've got to get better. We've got to get better safety play. And, whether the guys who've played there, Howard Matthews and Floyd Raven, can improve, or the young guys are going to come in and compete for their jobs. We'll see during fall camp. The big thing is, I think that we've recruited Miles Garrett as a guy who can have an impact. Deshaun Hall now is close to 260 as a pass rusher. We've got to have guys who can develop their own pass rush. We didn't have that last year, which was a big factor. And then once you start bringing other people into from the secondary, from linebacker to create pressure, you create holes in the defense, and then you got all kinds of other problems. So, we set out last year to really get back on track with what we had in DeMontre Moore as a pass rusher. We'll see what that is. I think Deshaun Hall has that type of ability, but certainly Miles Garrett does too, and along with a number of our young defensive ends. So that alone will, everybody says, well, what's worse, what's best? The secondary, the front, that all works together. And if you can't stop the run, then you don't have to worry about the pass. In this league, they'll just keep running it down your throat. And if you can't rush the passer, then you got real problems too. So, you know, we got to get better on defense. We understand that, but I think schematically we're doing the right thing. I think player-wise now we're starting to get players in the right position to be able to help us, and there's no doubt we have to improve in that area.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.